with all who have gone before us over thousands of years, the seekers, the questioners, all who have dared to believe in that which can never be fully understood. With all who have raised us, taught us, guided us as Eli guided Samuel, encouraged us as Elizabeth encouraged Mary, our family, friends, and mentors. With all who have studied and united and sought in prayer in the sacred spaces of United Seminary over the last 50 years. With all who have walked the halls of United with us, professors, classmates, chaplains, and staff. With our families and our friends who have loved us and supported us, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. With the earth and the sky and the sea, and that is our home, and all that grows and lives with us in it. And therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off all that binds us and not grow weary in the journey ahead. For we know that wherever journey takes us, we will never travel alone.
Jalo tilo budo hoku. Jalo e yoko kela. Sibuya mo jami mo bata sito jo. Mo bata mala makopo so suku kanike. Sibu saya de saya mo ko pada janoi. Lebagai tiba saya tala takopo. Saya mudo mata the Seminary UTS aku budo sibu ke nalo. Saya o be munale budo wa. Lebagai japa kedo. Lebagai relo khoti tak kedo. When we are the tamu sospi, the first one in the local, the when we are secular, saya tamu sospi, the muda pembaca lepas. Lord, you are so good, you are tamu sospi. The sekolah kita boleh jual apa ni? We berjaya juga pasti kau ni lor. Saya bersuara pada software pada UTS, dan pada software pada apa detik Saya sudah masuk sekolah ni. Walau cara-cara aku tidak kerja, kalau leg saya sekolah, leg saya syukur minggu sebelum ada tiba di malam jauh. Amin.
in support of their future ministries. This moment also honors the commitment of faculty, staff, trustees, and friends of the seminary, all those who make our excellent educational programs possible. We honor all those who have loved and supported our students into a new chapter in their lives. Let us join our hearts in joy and pray for blessings abundant as each degree is conferred. Let us make this time of transition one that we will always cherish. Now I want to introduce to you the Vice Chair of United's Board of Trustees, Reverend Kathy Austin Molly. She's also a member of the Judicial Council of the United Methodist Church, a member of the Collegeville Institute Board, and a life trustee of Hamline University. She will introduce President Miller. Kathy brings a vast array of gifts and intellectual memory to United at a time when we need it most. I am grateful beyond words for her service, her commitment to our seminary.
Thank you, President Holmes. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, who voted your degrees, I bring you greetings and congratulations to the graduates, to their family members, to loved ones and friends, professors and mentors. The entire United community is in celebration of all your achievements. Today marks an important milestone for you as you pursue vocations in ministry, as you make your plans to live into your individual callings. I know you will find paths that give hearing to the many silent voices in our community and country and world. This is a particular value and vision for United Seminary. Shortly, we will hear from Dr. Fenice Miller, the president of Hamline University, who is bringing our commencement message today. Dr. Miller has served 30 years of academic and higher education leadership experience, most recently at the University of Vermont. She is a social psychologist with special emphasis on such topics as alienation, social identity, and cross-racial friendships. Dr. Miller received her PhD from Texas Christian University and has done postdoctoral training in applied social psychology at Yale University. She's been a visiting professor at the University of Cape Town in South Africa, a National Science Foundation Fellow, a Salzburg Fellow, and she has served on many boards. She is the immediate past chair of the board of the American Association for Colleges of Teacher Education and president of the Council of Academic Deans from Research Extensive Institutions, and a past member and chair of the Vermont State Board of Education. A portion of her biography is in your program, and I invite you to read it because there's much more. As a life trustee of Hamline University, it was my distinct honor to participate in her installation last fall. Dr. Miller shows up on campus in all sorts of places and is known for giving great hugs to lots of people. Students report Dr. Miller sightings all the time, and that is wonderful. She is also leading the way towards Hamline's excellence into the future. It's a marvelous pleasure to welcome Dr. Miller into the United Seminary community. And to you, United graduates, along with those of prior and future years, our world desperately needs your leadership. Leadership built on the foundation that you have established through your experience
transformed heart that has been opened to see the visible and invisible disparities that exist, calling me daily to stay awake, act, and strive for a more just society. Affirmation of Hope by Loretta F. Williams. We, bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We pledge to work for that community in which justice will be actively present. We affirm that there is struggle yet ahead, yet we know that in the struggle is the hope for the future. And we stand united in affirmation of our hope and vision of a just and inclusive society. We affirm the unity of all persons. We affirm brotherhood and sisterhood that allows us to touch upon each other's humanity. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. Within ourselves and
President Holmes, whenever I have the opportunity to be in your presence, it is an honor and a blessing. I thank you. I was so thrilled to receive your invitation to be here. And I'm so pleased to be here to congratulate all of you. Trustee Bobby, there's never enough that I can say about you. You know that you're very dear to me. And I appreciate all that you do every single day. I wish there were more people who would like you. To you, class of 2016, congratulations. It is an honor and pleasure to add my voice of congratulations to the many you have heard and will hear for some time to come. I marvel at the work you have done and the decision you have made to be a leader and spiritual guide. There is much work that awaits you. For the world as you knew it upon entering United Theological Seminary is not the world that now awaits you. Jacques Derrida once opined that when we change even one word in a sentence, we've changed the entire sentence. With the events that have occurred over the years, the rise of voices in support of social justice and against injustice, the callous taking of life by the likes of ISIS and other terrorists acting in the name of God, but with no appreciation that God believed that one should love thy neighbor, regardless of religion, nationality, gender, class, race. Not take a life in the name of a cause. The events that have occurred since your enrollment have forever changed the world. In other words, that sentence has changed. One thing that still remains the same, at least I believe it does, is the undying hope that we have for the world today and that of tomorrow. However, it is because the world continues to change and evolve around us that you as spiritual and servant leaders have a lot of work to do. Much is expected of you. I have no doubt that you are ready and able to rise to the challenge because the education you have received, coupled with the passion you bring to the work, is what is really needed. You all stand for good. You will give substance to rear its ugly head, and poverty keeps many from fully participating in our nation's economic recovery. In Minnesota, just think about Minnesota alone. The achievement gap between whites and people of color is alarming. How can a state so rich in opportunities have an achievement gap that rivals or exceeds some of the poorer states in our nation? If you can help me understand that, please do. Why have wages of African Americans in the Twin Cities, and I speak of African Americans because that's the data that we have, why has it slipped so drastically? So it's a negatively impact African Americans' ability to succeed, ability to own a home, the ability to go to college, the ability to participate in Minnesota's economic recovery. Why are white women and rural communities dying at an alarming rate, higher than the national average for women and children? There was a question I asked my parents many years ago, is why do we hate each other so? I was a young child when I asked my parents that question. And it was after seeing my mother come home from participating in a civil rights march, soaking wet. You see, she had been sprayed with the hoses that the firemen turned on the marchers. I couldn't understand it then, and I don't understand it then. Why do we hate so much? I actually thought, after hearing my mother's response, that we would move beyond hate. I honestly believe that. And I think many of us in this room probably believe that too. That was the 1960s. That was a long time ago. Yet that question I asked my mother so many years ago remains unanswered. I hope you graduates will help us answer that question. I hope you graduates will make sure that that question of a young kid 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, and so on, doesn't get answered. Doesn't get asked again. We know how the object of the hate is very different today than it was in the 1960s. But hate still resides in the hearts and souls of too many people. Well, let me back off a bit. Maybe it's not hate. I hope it's not hate. Maybe it's ignorance disguised as hate. I prefer the latter. And I prefer the latter because we can do something about ignorance. We can make sure that people have opportunities. We can make sure that education is available to as many as we possibly can. Because when we make sure education is available, we change not only the life of that person who receives that education, we change the life of the entire family. Education is so critical. You as spiritual guides and servant leaders are in a position to positively influence perceptions of those who, based on some physical or demographic factor, seem different. You have the power to change the world. I know I'm putting a lot on your shoulders. But you can handle it. Because when I look out at you, and I look at your faculty, your president, I'm reminded of the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, who, along with so many of his foot soldiers, did everything they possibly could to bring about social and political change in the United States. I grew up in the church. My grandparents on both sides of my family were ministers. I know the power of the church. I know the power of people who come together for right, for good. I understand it, I saw it, and I know we can see it again. first African-American woman to graduate from Yale University. Civil rights activist, and a child of a religious leader herself. I could give you many examples, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. You, by virtue of what you have chosen to do, and the people you will influence, have the power to take away that question that I asked. You have the power to redirect us towards love, understanding, open-mindedness, and knowledgeability. You have the power to remind us that love is what we have. You have the power to remind us of the wonders of hope. Some of you probably know the poem, A Dream Deferred. I don't like that poem. Even though it's one of the most powerful poems you could ever imagine. I don't like it because I don't want any child, regardless of who that child is, to have their dreams deferred. I want every child to understand and believe in the power of dreams, the power of hope. So I use 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20 and say, "Brethren, do not be children in thinking, be babes in evil, but in thinking be mature." You, all of us, are being called upon to approach societal issues with an understanding of the issues, an open mind, and a willingness to help. You're called upon to go one step further. And I'm going to keep hammering that to you. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. Because I want you to fully understand what I expect of you. I know what President Holmes expects of you. What I expect of you. Because of who you are. And I say what I expect of you because I'm standing here representing so many people. So the I'm using, but the I isn't about me. The I is about our people. So we want you to go that one step further. We want you to make sure that people stop losing hope. So many of you probably read the Star Tribune today. They have the article in there about African Americans and their wages. You know what I'm talking about. Why are we still talking about that today? While I know the Bible says make love your aim, we cannot begin and end with love. Something must be in the middle. Because what is in the middle that will move us to solve the problems of our time and prepare for tomorrow? God gave us the power to love, but how we use that love or show that love is left to us. I'm asking each of you to stand tall. I'm asking each of you, not just our graduates, to speak out against injustice. I'm asking each of you, not just our graduates, to not accept violence as the status quo. I'm saying to each of you, do not lose hope. You've entered a race, unlike the marathon run in October of each year here in Minnesota. You've entered a race with no end in sight. Your race has a start, like mine has a start, like all of ours has a start, but the end is unknown. What we do have as we enter that race is hope. Hope for a brighter day and a future filled with opportunities and possibilities. Because we want much. I hope you know that. I know you do. We are in the midst of a very interesting time. Almost 8 years ago, we witnessed what I never thought I would see in my lifetime, and my parents never witnessed, because both of them had died before it happened. The inauguration, the first president to come. That, to me, was a momentous day. We thought on that day that we had entered colorblind society. You all know what I'm talking about, right? We thought on that day we had entered a colorblind society. But when he took office, in the back rooms there, what was said, we will make sure that he's a first-term only president. That's hate. That's hate. That wasn't ignorance. I wish it was. So we see challenges to the right to vote. I say all this because I want you to channel Martin Luther King when you're out here. I want you to channel all of those religious leaders and servant leaders who've gone before you and stood tall. I want you to fight back against those who attempt to take away the right to vote. A right that my parents and so many others fought very, very hard for. Fight back. We deserve to have the right to vote, regardless of age, regardless of whether you were born here or not, regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of any of those things. We deserve to have the right to vote. And it's okay if you don't agree with me. I believe it. And I will fight for it. I also say fight back. Whether you support Hillary Rodham Clinton or not, you fight back with someone saying the only reason why she's gotten as far as she is because she's a woman. She's gotten as far as she is because she deserves it. Fight back against those comments. Because if you whisper them, no one knows if you don't agree with what's being said. So it doesn't matter who you support. This one is the principle. These are all hateful comments, and they threaten our right to liberty, as promised in the Declaration of Independence. The cornerstone of liberty is active participation in public life. Although liberty is our right, undemocratic behavior is often the result when there are attempts to abuse liberty. Liberty, as we know it can be taken away. Let's not let that happen. Liberty is fragile, and in today's world, constantly at risk for far too many in our society. Like Hughes, in his poem entitled Words Like Freedom wrote, there are words like liberty that almost make you cry. If you had known what I know, you would know why. Hughes' poem tells a poignant story about the elusiveness of liberty. Let us not take liberty for granted. To do so means that we give up on the notion of home. Let me return to the race. The race is clear. It's marked for us. We know where the starting line is. But for I encourage you to go out and discharge the offices of life with purpose and usefulness. Congratulations to you all.
community. During our time here at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, we have developed and nurtured relationships that have morphed into a community of love and mutual support. We have encouraged one another, rejoiced with one another, supported one another, and prayed with and for one another. We have grown in our love and grown in our faith because of these relationships. Relationships are often strengthened around a table. For us at United, sometimes these tables have been in classrooms where we have been challenged to grapple with complex theological concepts, incorporating them, or not, into our own theology and practice. Or we have found ourselves around a table in the library, debating, researching, and challenging one another in our learning. Other Our hope and prayer is that it will be part of the relationship development which is so critical at an institution such as United, that it will be used not only on pizza nights in the community, but it will be the home also for many conversations over coffee, and that it will symbolize the radical welcome we can all find in the arms of the holy.
On behalf of the Seminary, I accept this class gift with thanks to all the graduates.
Please join me in a moment of prayer for dedication. Oh God, you come to us in many ways, generously inviting us to your table. Your table is a welcoming place where we are all part of the whole. We dedicate this gift in your name. Bless its use, bless those who will sit around the table and share in fellowship, bless the institution to which it is given. And may we always remember that your invitation is to all of creation, and may we continue to extend your table of love to all we encounter. Amen.
First, academic announcements. The Board of Trustees has granted emeritus status to Susan K. Evers, Professor of Theological Bibliography, upon her retirement on September 1st, 2016. Sue Evers, Director of the Library and Professor of Theological Bibliography, will be retiring on September 1st after over 20 years of employment at United, including 2 years as Dean and an officer in charge. Trina Armstrong, Assistant Professor of Pastoral Care and Pastoral Counseling, is leaving us at the end of the academic year for Garrett Theological Seminary in Chicago, where she will be leading the Department of Pastoral Care and building a program in African American family pastoral care and therapy. Michelle Turner has resigned as Assistant Dean of Students, Director of Financial Aid and Housing, after 40 years at United. She plans to continue for the Q Consortium and to spend more time with her grandchildren. Christian Erickson is now the Registrar and Director of Financial Aid. He has been interim registrar since November 2015. Marguerite Levy will be Assistant Dean of Students when Michelle leaves on June 1st, 2016. She will add that responsibility to her current work as Director of Black Church Leadership. Joelle Anderson will be joining us as Associate Director of Admissions on May 9th. We have an impressive array of adjuncts for the 2016-17 academic year, who will include Jeff Sartain, David Van Dyke, and Hugh Zeidman. The Masters of Arts in Religious Leadership has been revised into a Master of Arts in Leadership to more accurately reflect that our graduates are going into a variety of leadership contexts. There are now 2 options for the Master of Theological Studies, in Integrated Theology and in Public Theology. There are 2 new concentrations of note, starting in the fall: Social Transformation and Social Entrepreneurship. The Social Transformation concentration is aimed at training community organizers, social activists with theological or religious interests. The Social Entrepreneurship concentration is aimed to train people to start and sustain socially conscious or non-profit enterprises or businesses. We have entered a partnership with Fisk University to facilitate cross-registration. The Black Church Leadership Program, led by Dr. Barrow and directed by Marguerite Levy, launched at Wayman AME Church on February the 14th, 2016. I now invite Kathy Austin-Meyer to authorize the granting of degrees.
As Chair, Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, I hereby authorize President Barbara
previously announced, one of our colleagues on the faculty at United is retiring this fall. Susan Evers first set foot in United in 1974 as a student. She worked in the library from the very beginning. She graduated with an MDiv in 1978. She returned as assistant librarian in 1986 and became the librarian in 1991. In 1995, she became director of the library and assistant professor of theological bibliography and became full professor of theological bibliography in 2003. In 2011, she became dean of the seminary and also served as officer in charge together with board chair Carolyn Hendrickson. She returned to her beloved library in 2013. In recognition of her many years of distinguished service to the seminary, to theological education broadly, to the church and the wider community, the Board of Trustees, on the unanimous recommendation of the faculty, has voted to confer on her the status of Professor Emerita. I would now invite Susan K. Evers to come forward. Madam President, I am pleased to present Susan K. Evers for designation as Professor Emerita in this faculty.
Susan K. Evers, by action of the Board of Trustees, I designate you Professor Emerita of Theological Bibliography, effective the date of your retirement from active service. And as testimony thereof, I am pleased to present you with a certificate.
Theological Seminary has graduated students for over 50 years in service to their faith communities and to the world. Those who graduate today become part of a greater legacy of justice, compassion, hope, and faith endeavors that have emanated from United in that time. We have golden graduates representing alumni from United, Mission House Seminary, and Oriental School of Theology, whose classes graduated 50 or more years ago. As I introduce them, I invite them to come forward. Reverend Charles H. Eversman, class of 1960, Mission House Seminary. Reverend Gary Caston, class of 1966, United Seminary. Reverend Richard Shearer, class of 1966, United Seminary. After the conferral of degrees, the golden graduates will be anointing with oil or blessing those graduating today, in order to welcome them into this great company and remind them that they are not alone in the next chapter of their journey as well.
I now ask Dean Sharon Kahn to present the candidates for degrees. Please hold your applause until all degrees have been awarded.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Arts. Candidates for the degree Master of Arts to stand. They have completed all requirements for graduation and have been recommended by the faculty and dean of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities for the degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, members of the class of 2016, the degree Master of Arts, with all the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please come forward to receive your diploma as your name is called. Kirsten Cosbert Darwin. Nicole Lynette Guthrie in abstention. Daniela D. McIntosh in abstention. Saw Tutu name. Tara Lynn Parrish. Erin Nicole Singelis is abstention. Chelsea K. Stanton. Saw Blaze Ray Todd. Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Religious Leadership. Candidates, please rise. They have completed all requirements for the graduation and have been recommended by the faculty and Dean of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities for the degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, members of the class of 2016, the degree Master of Arts in Religious Leadership, with all of the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please come forward to receive your diploma as your name is called. Mariette Walsh. Kathy Stack. Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Divinity. Candidates, please stand. They have completed all requirements for graduation and have been recommended by the faculty and Dean of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities for the degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, members of the class of 2016, the degree Master of Divinity, with all of the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please come forward to receive your diploma as your name is called. John Arash Ahad Adams in abstention. Jameson John Baxter. Anne Marie Bjorklund. Brenda K. Bugren. Laura Elizabeth Mathis. Diane L. Kayamur. Pamela Yvette Cook. Janelle Faye Soderberg in the extension. Grant Robert Spencer. Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Theological Studies. They have completed all requirements. They have completed all requirements for graduation and have been recommended by the faculty and dean of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities for the degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, members of the class of 2016, the degree Master of Arts in Theological Studies, with all the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please come forward to receive your diploma as your name is Louise Hardy in extension. Madam President, I have the honor to present candidates for the degree Doctor of Ministry. They have completed all requirements for graduation and have been recommended by the faculty and dean of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities for the degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon them, members of the class of 2016, the degree Doctor of Ministry, with all the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Please come forward to receive your diploma as your name is called. Shell Bass. His thesis is titled, Speaking in Tongues as the Sustaining Gift of Faith, Mystical Union, and Prophetic Empowerment and Liberation. Amy Albert, with distinction. Her thesis is titled, From Enemy to Friend, Jewish Wisdom and the Pursuit of Peace. Janine R. Leonard. The thesis is titled, Young Adults, Addiction and Honesty, Spiritual Care and Values and Actions Collide.
Below the graduates, please stand. You all stand. I would you all turn. We all turn to face the congregation. Please congratulate.
With what shall we walk into our unfolding futures? What might we receive from God that can sustain us? Faith, a small word, a single syllable. Faith was enough for Abram to become Abraham. Faith was enough to convince Abraham that a ram would be better than his son. Even if we don't all affirm that Jesus was the perfecter of our faith, we can see how his life and his death were infused by faith.
And see how the deep faith of the women found the empty tomb
Worked in tandem with the shallow faith of the men who doubted their testimony. Faith is both believed and that through which we believe. Fides quae creditur. Fides qua creditur. Faith alone is enough to start a revolution. Sola fide.
faith seeks understanding that even if we can never know all, we can still know more.
We can know better. We can know in ways that heal rather than hurt. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such people of faith, faith in knowledge, faith in God, faith in humanity, let us accept this gift of faith as the richest treasure and the smallest seed of our inheritance.
The great mustard seed that continues to provide shelter for all those who nest in its branches.
Let us lay aside our idolatrous pride, so that we may tend the fertile soil and share the blooming shade. Give us that mysterious resurrection
brought thee out of the wilderness of Seminary, out of the house of endless reading and writing. Thou shalt now, therefore, finally be able to be still, and know that I am God. Hear then these commandments to you. Thou shalt take all thy learning and thy friendships from these seminary years with thee into the world, that they may be a staff upon which you may lean when the winds of the world blow strong. Thou shalt honor the many paths by which the people of the world seek thee, including the path that thou walkest. Thou shalt walk among all peoples in compassion and kindness, keeping always before thee the vision of my kingdom here on earth. Yet thou shalt uphold that vision with righteous anger in the face of those who would deny and destroy it. Thou shalt speak up for those whose voices are not heard by the mighty, and for the earth that I have created for thee and all generations who come after thee. Thou shalt continue to seek out opportunities to learn, that thy wisdom and witness upon the earth shall shine ever more brightly. Thou shalt strive in humility to discern when